Awesome. All right, guys. Well, happy Tuesday night. I'm just going to quickly give you guys some announcements before we move over to having Shannon train with us tonight. So one announcement definitely is it's coming so quickly is Celebration. So it's a virtual event. But if you guys have any team members close by to you, maybe you could plan like, it doesn't have to be the entire time, but maybe some of it you can do like watch parties together. I was thinking about that today with my local team. Like maybe we can, just kind of not the whole entire time, but maybe some of it just watch together. I think that might be fun. But that is the 17th, 18th, and 19th of July. So look it up. Actually, I think Roz posted in our yes, she did. She posted it in our group today about, oh no, it's not the 19th. I'm sorry, 17th and 18th. Is that right, guys? They just cut it down to the 2 days then, right? Yeah, okay. 17th and 18th, celebrationlive.com will be all streams live, all the same trainers they were planning to have, a lot of the trainers and everything. So it'll still be really great. But because we won't have that social aspect, if you do have any local people to you, I think it would be really fun to start thinking ahead and planning, or maybe go to different houses, one house one day and one house another day or something. But make it fun, get together with your teams. Maybe you guys can do some breakout sessions and discuss some things and stuff like that. So the other announcement that I wanted to remind you guys is that I did post kind of just so you guys know what the upcoming calls are for the rest of June. So we are going to switch a couple things around. So tonight, obviously, we're having Shannon. She's going to train us tonight. But then next Tuesday, Debbie is going to do the personal development. And, really, truly, you guys, and get your teams on these calls. This is like very crucial for growing your business, is to work on your personal development, building your belief, what can be holding you back, blocks, things like that. So take advantage that we have Debbie, and she's trained, and that every month she offers that to our team for free. So please make sure your teams understand that we offer that, because I think sometimes people, catch the recordings or the regular training, but the personal development won't be recorded, and it's really, really valuable. And then the final Tuesday, the 30th, Emily Russian is going to do a training on Canva. So we all have been bugging Emily, and she's been so awesome of doing so many graphics for us. But I think it's a great thing for us to all learn too, so that we can just kind of whip up our own beautiful graphics just the way she does, and do things more on stories. And so she is like the Canva queen. And Brooke had given you a shout out. Emily said you did such a great job helping her. So thank you for doing that on the 30th. So mark your calendars. It will be all 8:30 p.m., all Tuesday nights, and this Zoom. So that's what we have for the rest of June. And then I know Stephanie is going to also offer another Q&A. That will be not this week, but the following Wednesday. And we are still right now, we are doing our noon power hour sessions. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for 1 hour, 12 to 1. And honestly, you guys, those of you who haven't done it yet, or have team members that don't really know what it is, it's really basically just that we are committing that hour to work on our Isogenics business. So it's nothing, really other than an accountability to focus that hour. So if you have team members that are home in the day and they kind of need that community feel and just have that accountability, just keep that in mind and if it doesn't grow, we might just not do it through the summer. But right now, we're still continue Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then, of course, every Wednesday is our faith-based, gosh, a little backwards today, faith-based leadership training with Shayla and Brooke. So I'm going to turn it over to Shannon. So for you guys in the chat, I hope that everybody had an opportunity to take the color code test, so you kind of have a little self-awareness. If you have not, don't worry, you don't need to log off the call. I will make sure you guys see that there is a test you can take. I posted it in our group. But if you have taken it and you know what color you are, you can put it in the chat. If you've been to UIA, you do know that David T.S. Wood speaks on the color code. And why I feel like it's important is to just know how to motivate your team members, how to communicate properly with prospects, and customers, right? Because you might just have a different personality and different ways to approach people and motivate people could be different based on their color code. And it's really great to know what your team is. So if you know your color already, put it in the chat. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Shannon. I think you might have to share screen, so you can go ahead and set that up. And thank you again for doing this. And just so you know, Shannon is trained in this kind of certification and personality test and things. So that's why she's doing it for us tonight. So thanks, Shannon.
Yeah, of course. Gina, a little problem. It says that host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, I think it should be good now.
Okay,
I think it's just allowed only me now. It should be for you too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Got it. All right, can you see? Oh, wait, hold on. This is not what I want. Wrong thing. Okay, try this again. I promise I get paid to do this in the real world. Okay. Can you see my little chameleon guy? Okay, yeah. Cool.
You're good.
So let me see, where's the chat go? I want to be able to see the chat. More chat. Maybe I won't be able to see the chat. All right, I don't know why I can't see the chat, but in the chat, you guys have fun in there, and just like someone pipe in if there's anything there I need to know. But go ahead if you haven't already. Definitely, like Gina said, put your color in there, like what color you are if you took the test. If not, you'll probably have a good idea by the end of it. Oh, here we go. It just popped up for some reason. Oh, and it went away. What is going on? This is so weird. Let me stick it over here, hopefully. Blue, the splash of red, red and blue. I love it. So most commonly in network marketing, you're going to see a ton of blues. It's usually going to be the most common one, but I'm going to just go ahead and dive right in. Like Gina said, so this color personality trait, there's tons and tons and tons of personality assessments out like in the world. So we hear a lot about like strengths finders, Myers-Briggs, DISC. For purposes of this, DISC, if you've done DISC before, is very similar to the colors that we do. It's like, it's really the same stuff. And so that's where when Gina reached out to me, like I'm certified at work to teach and train teams on how to use their DISC personality type to have more effective communication within their teams. And so we use that as a tool. I work for a large resort company, and we use that as a tool out at our resorts and within corporate teams, just to like really break down communication barriers, which obviously is like all of what we do with Isogenics, right? So that's why this is like one of my favorite things to train. I get so excited. So I'm just gonna kind of give a bit of a high level tonight, because I do wanna be mindful of everyone's time, like Gina said. And then afterwards, if you guys still want like even more information, or if it was too fast, like I have notes I can give you. I can come in. I was even thinking maybe like throughout the week, if I pop in and do like a couple minute Zoom in the business or live in the business page, like, hey, we're talking about reds today, and I can give like some examples. We'll figure it out later. But before, just to get everyone on the same page, the best thing about the colors is it gives you a really good common language. Like you'll hear, if you haven't, if this is your first exposure to this, you'll probably already heard us saying like, well, I'm a blue, I'm a red, I'm a yellow. Like you're gonna hear it more often. So it by using that, it gives us like an easy way to be able to even connect with each other and have those conversations there. Now there's no right or wrong color, and there's no better or worse color. Okay, so like that's not a thing. Everyone's always like, I don't like it. That's not a thing. You can like it all you want. It's fine. It is what it is. All are equally valuable, and all of us are a blend of all four colors. Everyone is going to have color tendencies of all of them. You're just going to have some that are going to be way more dominant than others, right? So that's where we see like, red with a splash of yellow or blue with a splash of red, right? But, I have some white tendencies, right? Understanding yourself better, it's really helpful because then you can communicate with other people. Okay, so a little introspection, outro. Also, fun fact, like great for Isogenics too, but like also you can sneak use this with people in your life. Okay, just like be like, oh fun, like take this quiz and then we can blah blah, and then you're gonna know all this stuff about them. Learn to appreciate each other's differences, of course. Quick connections and get the yes, right? That is ultimately what we are here for. And so, I'm sure we've all had moments before where you feel like you've poured everything into a prospect, right? And then it comes around, and at the end of it, they're like, I don't know, or I need more information, or I don't. Chances are, obviously there are going to be some cases where people are just going to be a little more apprehensive, but a lot of times what it could come down to is we're just not speaking to what's most important to them, or in a way that's most important to them. So being able, like, I know for me, like I have to really stop myself from being like, oh, I just love helping people, and I want to retire my parents, and I want to quit my job. Like, what is important to me is not going to be important to all the people I talk to, right? Like, I know Molly's on here. Her thing, she was like, yo, I want to buy this chair that my husband says is too expensive, right? Like, at first. And, I have, some people are like, this is just fun, and I want to do it with other people. So being able to connect is going to be really, really helpful. So when you think of like the colors out in the world, okay, the reds are going to be the type of people that are reminding the elevator that it needs to get there faster. Okay. Maybe you push the button a couple times, get a little impatient. The yellows are going to be the one holding the door open for everyone and letting all these people pile in, which is going to really freak the whites out, because they're like, oh my God, how many people are on this elevator? Like, what's the weight occupancy? Like, I need to get off this thing. And then blues are like, I don't know, like, should I take the elevator or the stairs today? Like, I don't really feel like talking to anyone, so maybe I'll take the stairs. I didn't get my exit. Like, blues make it a whole thing, all right? So you'll start to notice this like out in the world as well. But the most common thing that you're going to see with reds, and we're going to start with reds, because if I don't start with the reds, they're going to completely tune out and not listen to anything else I have to say for the rest of this. Your mentality, reds, is typically, what's the point of playing if winning's not the goal? All right. So, and I'll make sure to get this like a PDF of all of this in the team page too. So if I go through too fast, for anyone like taking notes or wanting to follow along, reds priorities are immediate freaking action. They're going to challenge themselves. They're going to challenge other people, and not in an aggressive way. A lot of people take reds as like, oh, they don't like me, or oh, they're reds like just know how to push you out of your comfort zone. They are always going to be trying to get themselves to the next level, and they're going to be the ones that really just go for it. Like ignorance on fire is usually where you find the reds falling into. Their fears, though, could be loss of control. So whether that's control of their business, control of self, if they feel like someone's like trying to take advantage of them, if they're being perceived as vulnerable. So reds have a little bit harder time, sometimes opening up to the more vulnerable sides of, the network marketing things, because they are so driven. They don't want to be necessarily perceived as someone who, has that super soft side. And their limitations, though, especially, when we're talking about business and prospecting and all this in general, is they could come off as showing like a lack of concern for other people, and maybe where they're at. They may be a little impatient, that single mindset. Now, this is where reds are usually like, oh my God, I'm a horrible person and everyone must hate me. No, reds have a really good ability and a really good way to be able to completely separate like feelings from the situation. So like if they know the situation is, I've got to hit this goal by this day, they're plowing forward, right? Whereas maybe a blue is going to be like, I've got to hit this by this day, but today I'm not really feeling it. So like, I need a moment, right? Or, yellows are like, ooh, I need to hit that, but like everyone's going to happy hour. Or whites are like, I must have a plan of action before I can do anything, right? So it really just depends. But just know that reds, because they are driven, and you usually see reds rise really fast in the ranks and everything. And I may bounce around. I'm sorry if I get ahead of myself, but reds, you got to be careful that you don't burn out. Reds are the most notorious for burnout, because you're either getting like 40 hours worth of work done in a day, and then like, can't function for the rest of the week, or you go hard for like weeks and weeks and weeks at a time, but then you like feel like you can't go any further, and then you like, instead of just like slowing down a little bit, you have to like throttle all the way back because you've been going so hard. You'll notice about them, again, very confident. Usually reds are, typically like our, team leader type situations. They're really into that money, bottom line driven. Like they want that title, like they want the, you know, the recognition, like they're all about it, you know, because they're just really motivated by hitting those goals, right? So these are just the different things that you'll notice about them. So when you're talking to someone about the opportunity, right? So not necessarily about products, not necessarily like, you know, again, I could dive this in a million different ways, but if we're talking like about trying to get someone in for like a business perspective, right? This is where they are like, they usually like the, you know, opportunity word, right? The buzzword, you know, big money, you know, you're going to be your own boss, your own CEO, you know, bonus and recognition and stage trips and stuff, right? They're going to be like really excited about like all of those things that, you know, that those more like tangible, easy, quick things when it comes to the opportunity. Like their vision board's probably full of like the nice car and the big house and the boats and the, you know, like they're like really excited about, you know, all of those different things, you know, the paycheck, retiring themselves. All right. Feeling good so far? Yeah. So moving on to my yellows. My yellows are the life of the party, y'all. All right. So yellows, their mentality towards stuff is we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Okay. Like they are like, you got to reel these people the heck in. Okay. You, their priorities are just going to be like expressing enthusiasm, having fun. They want to bring everyone in it. Your yellows are going to be your most natural. These are the people that like, they get their box and they're like live streaming, opening their box on Instagram. And they're like, please look at this lovely Isogenics product. You can go on Isogenics. And you're just like, yellow, no, right? Because they're just so excited. They want to bring everyone in. They're just going for it, right? They're super excited, but they need a little bit more like, you know, hey, like don't use the label because people are going to buy it on Amazon, right? Like they're just excited. They want to bring everyone in for the trip. They're excited to feel great. They're excited to do this business. Okay. You don't want to feel ignored. Your yellows really enjoy the social time. Okay. They also have a harder time, not that they don't like structure, but they have a hard time feeling like if they feel like they're going to be put in a box, they're probably going to feel like they can't do this as like a business or as an opportunity, or, you know, even a lot of our yellows really like using just even the products because they feel like they can still go out to happy hour, have a great time with their friends, but then still be like super healthy, right? So yellows really like to be able to like live their life, very free spirit when you think of your yellow, okay? The yellows could typically be a little disorganized. You know, usually they're maybe the organized mess. Their follow through is usually kind of somewhere where they get so excited and they talk to you about it and you're all like ready to go, and then like they're on to like the next 10 people and they kind of like forgot, like, oh yeah, I should probably reach back out to Jared. Like we talked about that 2 months ago. I wonder how he's doing. Like, let's go have a drink and talk more about this, right? And yellows, you have to be careful. You typically listen with the intent to reply because you're excited and because you like are, you know what you're going to say and you know how you're going to bring them along and you know how this is going to help and you get excited about it. So just take a moment, yellows, to kind of like slow down. All right. Things you'll notice about them. Again, they're just going to be your life of the party. Like they are the fun. They are down to travel. Like when I went to Nashville the first year, Kara like out partied me all weekend long. Like literally all weekend long. Like Jared, Kat, and I were like going back, like we're sleepy, like at our Airbnb. And like meanwhile, we like Kara's up until like 4 a.m. like having the time of her life. I don't think she was drinking. Like Kara just wants to like go out and have fun with everyone. So like just like these are your network marketers. Like they're just natural, like party, like bring everyone along. We'll talk more about like the business side here soon. So when you're talking to a yellow about the opportunity, this is where you got to talk incentive trips, you know, fun. You're going to love this. You're going to meet so many new friends and people, and we go on trips together and we travel and we have pajama pizza parties, and like, you know, they just want to have, all the fun. Okay. So that's going to be your yellows. You want to focus on more of like, I just realized that even with one of my girls, not too long ago, I missed telling her about Fiji. She's like, I can go to Fiji? What? And so I'm like, okay, here we go. Fiji for her, right? So it's, you know, that's going to be what they're most driven by. Now we have our blues, all right? So a lot of us are going to be in our blue zone, all right? Their mentality is whoever is happy will make others happy too. I'm a big old blue, if no one knew that already. So like big old softy over here. So your blues, okay, their priorities are like support, stability, helping people, like bleeding hearts. Blues are just bleeding hearts for everyone, okay? Their fears is if they feel like maybe there's tension or if they offend somebody. So it's hard because most people, the majority, when you go to UIA, you'll see you get like a flower lei that you wear that has your color, and you'll see most of the room typically is blue. And so blues are gonna be the ones that are like, I'm afraid to post this on social media because I don't want people to think I'm in a pyramid scheme and that I'm trying to make money off of them and blah, 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 right? Those are gonna be all the blues like things in their heads, okay? Again, yellows are like, what's a pyramid scheme? Like, I can make money and go on trips, cool. And reds are like, you know, whatever, money, here we go. Like, I don't care how I'm making money. And then whites usually actually know how the compensation plan works. But yeah, so they don't want to be bothersome. Blues, you know, don't want to be perceived as pushy. So those are kind of some of their fears. Those limitations for a blue, and I mean, like, I know I suffer from all these, right? Indecisiveness, even just on like, should I post now? Should I wait until this time? Should I post this today? What if I post this tomorrow? Like you're gonna like overthink everything, right? Blues are the people, like if you ask where you're going to eat, the blues, don't let the blues decide. They can't decide, okay? They don't know how to say no typically. So these are your yes people. Like I know even now I was like rushing on this. Like I went to the gym and then I got home and someone's asking about this thing and that thing. And then my mom called and I'm like, I gotta go. Like shoved a shake in my face before I got on the call, right? So like, they're just gonna, and they could come off as maybe a little needy because they're gonna have a lot of questions. They need a lot of reassurance. You need a lot of reassurance as blue, okay? But you'll notice about them, they're very slow and steady. So again, reds are coming out of the gate. They're probably hitting all the, you know, milestones right when they, you know, they're hitting crystal everything. They're hitting the bonuses. They're hitting the stuff, right? Yellows, they're gonna take longer to build their business, but they're gonna have a huge ass team that just goes and wants to have a grand old time. All right, they're gonna have a blast. Ignorance on fire for everyone, right? Blues are the slow and steady builders usually, but blues can also be very swayed easily by like emotions in their community, and you really got to be careful with your blues. So if they're having a hard time with people perceiving them a wrong way or things like that could drive a blue to like not want to do this as a business because they don't want to rock the boat. So like they would rather put their stuff on hold than have people like not be okay with them, if that makes sense, right? So they're the huggers, helping other people. They want things they're going to individualize everything. Blues are also really bad at duplicating because of that too, because they want to specialize it for everyone and help everyone, right? So, you know, again, I'll probably getting ahead of myself. So for blues, when you talk about opportunity, you know, things like, hey, I have a favor to ask you. I need your help. Like, would you support me? I'm trying to hit this really big milestone. You know, this opportunity call tomorrow. We want to help so many people. Our team just wants to grow and, you know, help everyone accomplish their dreams, right? So blues are going to be those, again, bleeding hearts all the way, right? Like, I can't tell, like, I think I spend like every single event I go to with Isogenics just like crying the whole time because like, oh, look at what they've done. I'm so proud of them, right? Like a big emotional bleeding hearts, empathy out the yin yang, all right? And then our whites, oh, sorry, Carrie, sorry, do you need to go back? Yeah. Okay. I'll put the PDF on our team page too. Now we have our whites. Okay, so whites are typically going to be the smallest percentage in network marketing. Okay, but they're not to be. Well, let me go back one more thing with the blues though. Like blues are a little sneaky because if you like, they'll give and they'll give and they'll give until they feel they have no more to give, and then they're just like, I'm done with you, right? So blues, you just gotta be like, they give until they can't give no more. And if they get to that point where you're getting cut out, like you're getting cut out and it's not good. So I don't know what's going on in the chat, but yeah. So blues can be a force of nature. Okay. Whites. So whites, these are our very analytical people in the business. Okay. So their mentality is it takes less time to do a thing right than to explain why you did it wrong, okay? Now, you'll notice with whites, they are the people, they want all the research, reading the ingredients, they're analyzed their compensation plan. You probably sent them like 18,000 videos. They've watched all of them. They've read all the things. They've done all the research, the science. They want the accuracy. They are typically the ones that it's hard because they won't move forward until they feel like they know enough, is typically where our whites fall into. Because they don't want to be wrong. They really value being able to be that expertise, the expert person, right? Which is hard because we know that doesn't always duplicate. And, they don't want to make a lot of quick decisions. Stepping out of their comfort zone it takes a little bit longer for someone who's a white, okay? And they could become overly critical of themselves, most typically is where you're going to see their criticalness come in. They're going to be very skeptical. So like I just had someone, one of my associates, he's sitting on, I think like 19 cycles at this point, maybe closer to 20. And I met with him and I'm like, hey, like, all this money sitting here, like if you just share it to 2 people. And he's like, well, why? And I was like, that's just what you do. And he's like, well, like, why am I making money off like everyone's in the team and not just what I do? And I was like, well, if you make off of what you do, you're going to get like $100. But if you make off the team, you're going to get like $1,000. Like, so like, what's the problem, right? He's like, well, I just want to know how it works and like, why was it done this way? And how did it? I was like, I don't freaking know. I was like, just share with people, right? So like, I had to give him like a whole bunch of other resources and stuff. But that's fine. Like, he just wants to be able to speak to every single little thing, and that's not a bad thing. Whites typically take the longest to build their business, but they will stay forever, right? Because they're not going to stick with something that, if they're going to pour their time and energy into something, they're going to stick with it. Like, they're going to be in it for the long run. So your whites typically have the best retention from a product perspective, from a business perspective. You just got to be really, really patient with them. They're going to be slow to bloom, but they will, right? You'll notice about them again, loyal, confident, little skeptic at first, super kind. So, when you're talking to them about the opportunity, these are good ones where a lot of times, because like this may be out of their comfort zone, like we'll find a lot of times whites on like a Zoom call, for example, may not have their video on, or they may not, like the first thing they'll maybe ask you about it is like, oh, do I have to say anything? Do I have to participate? And so it's just like, no, like just hop on, listen in. There's going to be information and science and blah, blah, blah. Bring a notebook, right? I want to hear what you have. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your feedback, right? So they're going to analyze it a little bit more than just listen in for the fun of it. So, okay, feeling good so far? Yeah? Okay. We're leading these teams. So again, Reds typically, like, you just got to give them the tracks to run on, they're going to run. So you don't typically have to go into too much detail with red. Typically, maybe even like less is more with them. Like, they just want to know, like, I got to do like one, A plus B equals C, and they can plug and chug, right? So as long as they have that good understanding, they're typically going to go. Reds, you have to be careful not to make them feel like micromanaged. So something I really like to ask my Reds is like, how often do you want me to check in with you? Like, what do you want me to keep you updated on, right? Because they may want to know, more about like milestones and things they need to hit than like every little team update thing that's going on, right? If that's going to distract them from their big goal. So making sure they know the basics, they can run on the tracks, they can, good to go. They'll be well on their way. And like money, letting them know what money's available to them. So, don't leave anything on the table. Make sure they know all the different bonuses, all the different things like that, because they're going to try to hit all of them. Honestly, they're not going to want to leave anything out. Your yellows, they're going to need probably more like, okay, step one, go do this. Let me know when you do that, right? And then, okay, I texted them. This is what they said. Okay, now we're going to do this, right? Okay, I said that, now what, right? So they're going to need a little bit more like step by step by step by step, instead of like big picture as a whole. Reds, they're the people, they're like, cool, these are the graphics we're using, post, right? Blues are like, oh, I like these graphics. I want to make sure they sound like me in my network, so I'm going to change all of these things and blah, 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 right? Whites are probably like, you're going to have to really pull their teeth to post it all. But yellows, it's like, hey, do this. Hey, blah, blah, blah. Okay, keeping in mind of team events, making sure they feel they really like the recognition. So like celebrate the little wins all the time, especially with the yellows. They really enjoy that recognition, being in the spotlight, you know, feeling like they're part of the gang, you know, really getting, like, yellows are the ones that will always, they'll be at every event. You know, they could stay an associate forever, but they are showing up to every single freaking event because it is fun and their friends are there. They're having a good time. Your blues, again, they need a little bit more like emotional support, if you will. So typically they're going to need some time to maybe process things, come up with like a little bit of a plan because they want to make sure it feels like authentic and genuine. The blues are the ones that are not, like, if you're not in a good headspace necessarily, like, blues are going to have a really hard time like doing their business for the day. If they're feeling like, if they have like a lot of emotional things going on, or if they're tired, or if it just feels like overwhelming, like, blues need that time to step away to like recharge and come back. A lot of times too, typically because blues are very empathic. So I know we have a lot of people on our team that we've talked about empathy before and like taking on that energy. So when blues are taking on a lot of that energy, it's like, okay, like, I need some time to, like, I'm gonna go to the beach for the day. Like, I know, like, for me, like after I hit Crystal Director, I literally just like, I think I like spaced out for like 2 days because I was like, I need to be not around anyone. Like, I need to be on a beach, like, because I was just like, there was like so much like energy and like tense and like all, it was exciting. It was awesome. And I'm like super excited about it and I'm grateful. But like, it was just so much like energy that, you know, it took me a while to, I was like, okay, and here we go again, right? Gotta, you know, not stay. It's easy for blues to stay in that space though of like rest. So blues are the ones that usually with their business. You know, reds go out of the gate strong and then throttle way back. Yellows are like, blues go like creeping up, and then we're gonna take some time back, and then we're gonna go back up again, and we're gonna take some time back. All right. And then your whites, again, patience is gonna be so important with your whites. They are not gonna be as responsive. They're not gonna be as like super stoked about all the competitions and, you know, incentives and deadlines and trips and things. Like, they want the information. They want to feel confident in the information. They want, you know, again, some of this stuff could be really, again, huge out of their comfort zone to be in big groups of people and to be, you know, extroverted. Typically our whites are a little more introverted people. They're like the types, like, they're really introverted until you get to know them. And then it's like, oh, like, I would have never thought that about you, right? So, you know, just giving them that time, giving them that space, making sure you're checking in with them. Again, really appreciating like articles, anything that, you know, anything that helps like build more of like that, you know, knowledge base, right? Now, what's important in all of this, okay, it's not, you don't have to become a different person, okay? Like, if you're yellow, be a yellow. If you're a blue, be a blue. Red, go for it. Like, that's literally what makes this so great, is we do get to be ourselves in this business. It's just a matter of recognizing who you're talking to, and you've got to be that chameleon, right? Like, you've got to be a little selfless and kind of like adjust a little to who you're talking to so you can best serve them for whatever it is. So you can hit that next bonus, so you can help them feel better, so you can get them right. So whatever it is that your focus is, so you can bring them to the party, like, you've got to, you know, be able to shift yourself a little bit to build those connections. Okay, so yeah, I've kind of jumped all over the place. But reds, again, achievements, money, recognition. Like, hey, your name is going to be like up on this giant screen. You're going to walk across the stage, you get a trophy, and people are going to cheer for you. And, you know, start 1,000, right? Like, you know, you can be one of the first 1,000 people to be that, right? So they're the people that, like, they're really going to be motivated by those achievements, like unlocking those achievements. Okay, so here are just like some words. Again, we've talked a lot about them, but I'll put all this in the thing. But these are some like typical words. The bigger the word, the more common that trait is going to be for that style. Okay. Yellows, yeah, fun, adventure, trips, you know, group outings, watch parties, you know, grand old times, right? So we've talked a little bit about this along the way. So you see, again, relationships, they're enthusiastic, warm, and they're very intuitive, lively. They're that person to listen to. Your blues, again, they're the people that want to help. They want to support your team. Being mindful that, it's really easy for blues to fall in that trap of like doing everything for your team because you want to help them so much, but then you're not duplicating stuff. You know, whites could be afraid to even say anything. Yellows are like, I don't know, we just have fun. We just do these things, right? So you kind of got to maybe like find another person that can be that balance for you. And then reds, like, it's good for reds to notice, to take the time to say like, okay, like, I've got to take a step back here, right? And like take some time to sit in my feelings and figure this out. And then again, whites really going to value that information. So some easy questions to ask when you're talking to your prospects, again, customer based, or, I've tried to focus this more on like the business opportunity. Like, what do you do for a living, right? Typically, reds are going to fall into like sales type positions, right? Or like really like high ranking leadership positions. Yellows are going to be, bartenders, they're going to be servers, they're going to be like those hospitality type positions. Blues are typically teachers and trainers and nurses, like, right? So think of those. Whites are usually going to be people like in like more of like maybe engineering or like tactile fields along the way. So asking them what they do for a living and asking them, like listening to how they respond to it too. Like, do they respond passionately, right? It's like, I'm an engineer and I love it. It's great. We get to do this and that other. Oh yeah, I'm in engineering, right? So, because then maybe like, it's not like a one size fits all thing, right? So they could be like one of my leaders now in my job, he used to be a kindergarten teacher. Like this man, and never in a million years would you ever think this man would care about children, right? Like he's super nice, but he's just not like this touchy-feely, warm guy, let alone being like a kindergarten teacher, right? So like, he's like a straight up red, right? Like he's just like, yeah, I mean, like it was a job I needed at the time. I had a job for a year, like blah, blah, blah. Like, so it's not a one size fits all. So like and he'll tell you like, oh, well, I used to teach kindergarten, and he's like super sarcastic about it, right? So clearly indicator, not really his thing. So then follow-up questions and finding out what they're passionate about. What do you like to do in your free time? Whites typically like to read and listen to podcasts and like have that chill time. Yellows are out with their friends. Reds are like, I don't know, probably doing some like fitness something or another and like trying to like peek out at whatever hobby it is that they're doing, wakeboarding, adventure, I don't know. Your blues are going to be the ones like, oh, like, I go visit my family, or, I try to catch up on housework, or, like I try to, see the people I care about, right? So they're going to be more in that world. What do you like most about your job or hobbies? This is where those passions start to come out. And this is where, asking some of these questions up front, you could use to your advantage when comparing that to what they could have out of isogenics, right? So does this mean that, they're going to be able to enjoy that job or hobby more? Are they, if they're doing a job that they don't really love, but they'd like to be able to doing these other things based on how they're answering, then you could bring that up too. Some people, especially with the free time, you start to ask them about that, being like, oh my gosh, like, wouldn't you like love to spend all of your spare time, like, visiting your grandma? Hell yeah, right? So I don't know, whatever works for them. So but these are just some good questions to like listen for passion, listen for inflections in their voice, what gets them excited, listen for how they're responding, to kind of start to give you key indicators of like what color they might be, right? We can't just like be like, hey, before we talk, I mean, some people do. You can have them take the quiz beforehand if they're like maybe serious about it. But, for the most part, it's, you gotta like pick up on cues to kind of be like, okay, this person's probably a yellow. Like, I'm gonna like focus on the fun stuff for this conversation, right? So again, like just some pictures to like motivating, right? So like reds are gonna be motivated by stuff like this, right? So there's Sandra and Gina like on the stage. This was at Celebration when I went. So I right? So they're gonna be like, look at that, like you're gonna be in the 100,000 plus club, hell yeah, like on stage, like have a great time, right? Yellows are gonna like, what, I can have pizza and wine and like look at all those fun those people are having, right? This is when I went to UIA, right? So this is fun. Like yellow people, like this is the kind of stuff they want to be involved in, right? Everyone having a grand old time. Then you have your blues who are, this is Gina, gosh, this picture's probably so old, huh? A couple of years now. You have your blues, like they want to see the family and like enjoying that time together and, being able to like, live into that. And then your whites are really going to be intrigued mostly by those like opportunities, like whether it's, hey, we're going to have an information session, or hey, like, here's an article, or hey, you know, here's like, you know, an opportunity to listen in, right? So they're going to be a little bit more geared towards those like facts and statistics than the emotional side of things. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I know that was like, you know, speed colors there, but I haven't like really, oh, professional hugger, I love this. Okay. Oh man, I wish I could have seen this the whole time. Yeah, Molly, you're definitely a part yellow. Molly and I last Friday, she's like, hey, you want to come have a beer? And like, we ended up taking a tequila shot, and like, I don't know, we were out until like 1 a.m. So that's a yellow. That's a yellow. Anyways, so what questions do you guys have just off the bat? I know we're wrapping up on our time here and stuff, but I can give you all the information. I can put some more stuff in the page, but just to start out, how are we feeling? Any questions? Okay. So Gina, I'll pass it back to you then.
Thank you,
Hope that was helpful, friends.
Thank you so much. And if you guys want to if for your team, as you're building your team, if you wanted to just kind of see where they fall maybe with their personality, you can always give them that color code test as well. But it does help to just better communicate and maybe how you can coach people. And I love, Shannon, what you said about asking reds, especially like, how much do you want to hear from me? How much coaching do you want? Because that is a really great question. And so hopefully that was helpful. It is 9:15 now, so we'll wrap it up, and then we'll see you guys again next Tuesday. Remember, is with Debbie for personal development, and I will load the recording of this in